Hello fellow commanders, my name's John, welcome to my garage. Today we are taking a look at the Tier 7 German heavy tank, the Tiger 1. This is my first tank review, so hopefully this sets the parameters for further tank reviews and how they're going to look and how they're going to operate and just kind of the pace that they're going to have. And the first thing I'm going to do on these reviews is go through a brief history overview of the tank in real life. What made this tank the way that we remember it in the history books. So, the Panzerkampfwagen 6, or Tiger, first started production during July 1942. After that, they first saw combat in August 42 on the Russian front. The reason for this, German High Command needed a tank to knock out T-34s and KV-1s with no problem, as the current Panzer IVs and Panzer IIIs were struggling with it, and German tank commanders were kind of complaining that their tanks were a little undergunned when it came to the armor of these tanks. So the only gun that was effectively doing that was the German 88mm. So what did they do? They took a couple tracks, they put it on a big blocky structure, put a turret on it, and slapped the 88mm in it. And it made the tank that we know it to be today. This tank is feared by a lot of Allied commanders throughout the war. In fact, during the Normandy campaign, there was such a fear of the Tiger that anytime a Sherman or Cromwell or anything was knocked out, and they had no idea where the shot came from, they immediately assumed it to be a Tiger. And there were tons of Tiger kills, but were later found to just be Panzer IVs because of the spaced armor they had. Allied tank commanders who saw the tank, shot it, killed it, just assumed they'd killed a Tiger tank. And in all actuality, there were more Panthers running around during World War II than there ever were Tiger 1s. But just because of the legendary stature of that 88 and the fearsome reputation the Tiger had, it led to a lot of Allied tank commanders on both fronts assuming that any time one of their tanks got hit, it was from a Tiger. So, with that brief little history overview done, what exactly can you expect out of this tank? What are the pros and cons of the Tiger 1? Well, definitely one of the pros to this is the gun. But it's not really... getting to that gun is a bit of a grind. It's a struggle. The stock Tiger 1 gets that little 75mm L70 gun, and while the rate of fire is good, the damage isn't really good, the aiming time and accuracy is not bad, and the penetration ain't bad. But, like I said, the damage ain't good. This is not a heavy tank gun. This is a medium tank gun. Unfortunately, you're kind of stuck with that gun, because the only other option is a 105 gun that sucks, and an 88mm, even though this is a real 88mm the Tiger mounted, 132mm of penetration, and then 171 with gold ammo. Yeah, you get in a Tier 9 match with that, and tell me you weren't wishing you were using that little 75mm gun, because the rate of fire is slower, the accuracy is worse. Really, the only thing better on that is the damage per shot. So, what's this 88mm like? Well, it's the L71. And fun fact, that gun was never mounted on the Tiger 1 in real life. This gun was actually mounted on the King Tiger, or Royal Tiger, and some were mounted on Jag Tigers, but it's just too big of a gun to fit on a real Tiger 1. But this gun is beautiful. I love this gun. This gun you're going to see a lot during the German tech tree. It's on the Tiger 2. I want to say the E75 mounts it as a stock gun. Yeah, I want to say it does. And it's on tank destroyers. Pretty well, any of the mid to higher tier German heavies and tank destroyers are going to be mounting this gun. And in fact, a couple medium tanks mount the L71s. But the rate of fire is good, just shy of 9 rounds per minute. The accuracy is superb. The aiming time's okay. The penetration is great for a heavy tank, 203, and then gold rounds, 237. The damage is pretty lackluster compared to Russian and American counterparts at Tier 7. But it's just the rate of fire and the accuracy that makes this tank what it is. Whereas the T-29 can sit at medium range and do well, but with the lack of... The T-29 at medium range can do well. The Russian IS has to get in at close range, because it only has 175mm penetration, but it deals out a massive amount of damage, and it's not that accurate. The German tank doesn't have to worry about that. At close range against mediums or other heavies, it can just keep pumping the rounds out like a machine gun. And at long range, it can sit there and snipe weak points, which is what I love about this tank. If you do find yourself in a Tier 9 match, when you're in an IS, you're kind of like crud. I gotta wait for the right moment to unload 400 damage in someone, and I better get out of there because otherwise I'm gonna get shot to pieces. T-29 can go hold down and just wither the fire and hopefully just put shells out every now and again, the Tiger doesn't suffer from that. He can sit as far back as he wants with the other tank destroyers with .34 accuracy, decent rate of fire and penetration, and just chip away at the enemy team's health, hit weak points, hit tracks. That's what he can do, and I love that about this tank. In a Tier 9 match, I don't worry about it. But one of the bad things of this tank is the armor. It only has 100 millimeters of armor at the front, and it's flat, as you can tell. So rounds are going to go through it like butter, especially Tier 7 guns. Tier 6 guns might bounce, Tier 5 guns may bounce, but Tier 7 and up are going to go through this tank. Don't expect a lot of bounces unless you've angled it about like this, or you're side scraping, because the side armor is pretty decent. 80 millimeters, rear 80 millimeters. So the tank is decently armored on the sides, but the problem is if you get shot right below your turret, more often than not you're going to have your ammo rack lost. It's going to get damaged and the rate of fire is immediately going to drop. But there is a little bit of hope in the gun mantlets, because there is a fine little strip running, as you can see, kind of on that T-joint, that is about 120 mil thick. But apart from that, this tank is not the best armored, so don't go expecting when you drive on the battlefield that this is the indestructible German war machine. It isn't. You need to play as a sniper. You need to play clever, just like a clever wolf. You have to sit there and wait for the enemy to make the mistake, to come around the corner, side on, to forget about you. You're going to see that in the gameplay, that I kind of just plug the gaps, take advantage. I'm a scavenger. I'm taking shots when I can. I'm conserving my hit points. That's one thing the Tiger 1 does have. Even though it's got a lack of armor, it's got 1,500 hit points. That's just as much as the Tier 8 Russian Heavy, the IS-3. So it's got quite a bit of hit points, but it just doesn't have the armor to back those hit points up. So, like I said, don't go expecting bounces in this. Play carefully, and you should do fine. And that's kind of how I set my equipment up. With the rammer and vents, I've got better rate of fire, better performance out of my tank. But if I do find myself in a Tier 9 match, I do have binocular telescope, so I can park it in the bushes of the tank destroyers and just snipe from long range. So, after I've went off on that big long tangent, let's take a look at some gameplay footage and see exactly what I'm talking about, the method to my madness on the Tiger 1, so to speak. So, let's do that. So, here we are, Tiger 1, Mountain Pass, it's Team Destruction, and I'm bottom tier. I'm the pipsqueak of the entire match, because the only thing lower than me is an S-51 Russian SPG, and he's not going to be on the front line, is he? Well, I'm not going to be either for the first part of this little match. Like I said, the Tiger 1's a sniper, and if you do find yourself in as heavy a Tier 9 match as I did this match, take note, take positions where the tank destroyers are. Conserve hit points, save yourself for as long as you can. So, I'm aiming. Here comes a Panther. He slams on the brakes. He must have sixth sense, because he obviously recognized he was spotted and he was getting out of there. Hit him. The T-30, on the other hand, he's a little slower backing up, and I do manage to put a shot in him. Artillery splashes him, but he does get back into cover with everything but most of his health. So, like I said, basically take up positions where tank destroyers normally would. You've got the accuracy and the penetration to do it, why not? Any second now, artillery is probably going to come raining in, mainly because, yep, there you go, artillery raining in. There's 2 artillery on each side, and when you're in a Tiger 1, you can't afford to take hits like that. When artillery splashes you in this tank, you just don't have the armor to sit there and go, no problem, he'll hit me, I'll just keep driving. No, chances are it's going to knock out crew members, it's going to damage you, if not kill you. So, getting a little bored here. Unfortunately, the guys on my right side aren't quite as bored. There's a T-49, M103, IS-8, and I think a Lorraine 40 ton coming around, and they're just beating the crap out of those guys. The Pershing is about to die. He takes another big hit. I'm calling for the Waffenträger Auf Panzer IV to follow me, because if I don't go back up these guys, we're going to get shot up next. And this is what the Tiger 1 really does in low-tier matches. It's kind of a big, huge medium tank with that rate of fire. You just go and you fill holes in the defenses. And right now, the biggest hole we've got is this side. The 112's calling for help. The IS-3's already fallen back to a better position. I see the Lorraine 40 ton. He's going to try to take out the 112, so I park my Tiger in front of the 112, bounce the first shot. He blows my tracks off. Second shot. I put another good hit in him. 112 is going to come up, finish him off. So, that's him dead. T-49 tries to put a shell on me. I'm pretty stingy with that repair kit. It does cost me when that IS-8 decides to hit me, but no problem. So, here's the M103. And this is what I'm talking about, the accuracy of the 88mm. I'm able to repeatedly put shots in that command cupola of the M103, even though he has way better armor than I'll ever hope to have. There's the Super Pershing. They have way more armor than I do, and I would never be able to pin them with just shooting at them. So, I use the accuracy, I use the rate of fire, I just chip away at their hit points, shooting the command cupola again. He's eventually had enough. He's pulling back, but that blistering rate of fire is not going to let him get away that easily. Unfortunately, it's right about, I bounce. Don't know why that bounced, but it did bounce. So, suddenly the match seems like it's going very well. We've obviously beaten these guys back. It's just the IS-8 and T-49. I'm waiting for the IS-8 to fire. He fires. Me and this IS-3 are going to bum rush the T-49. He's got no hope at all. He might get one shot off, but while he's reloading, he's going to die. So I'll put a shell on him. He's a one-shot kill now. I do take a hit from the IS-8, but it's all good because the T-49 dies. That's a big turnaround. It's 2 kills. I'm a tier 7 heavy tank. One of them was a tier 8 light tank. The other was a tier 9 heavy tank. And the tier 9 heavy tank, the M103, was sitting at about 2/3 health when I first met him. So, pretty amazing feat there. IS-8 dies, and we've secured the flank. There's nothing left on this flank for us to kill. So, I'm at low health. Yes, I did take a lot of damage doing exactly what needed to be done. I didn't take any unnecessary hits, I don't believe, because we needed to push up. I needed to cover the 112. There were things that needed to be done to ensure we kept that flank going, because if we lost the 112 to that Lorraine 40-ton, there's no telling what would have happened. So, yes, the Tiger 1 doesn't have a whole lot of armor, but it does have enough hit points to play around with, especially in a tier 9 match. I'm all for helping your teammates because they're your most valuable asset, whether that's for them to take the next hit for you or them to spot for you. Utilize them. So there's only one tank left, and that's a Type 59. Now, where on earth could he be? Keep in mind, I'm a one-shot kill for this Type 59, but I am looking for a 3rd kill, and I'm always hungry for that damage. I don't care if I die at the end of a match as long as I can keep getting some damage. So I'm really looking for this Type 59. So where's he gonna be? They were pinging the bridge, and part of me thought, okay, he was up here, he killed some of these tanks. I wasn't really paying attention to my mini-map throughout the battle, so he may have went this way. Of course, the more acute of you viewers will have seen that we pushed through the bridge, so there shouldn't have been a single tank up here. Still, I'm checking my rear because I really don't know if he's gonna catch me blindsided. Artillery's kind of skittish, they don't know where he is. I'm looking around. Nothing so far. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Way over there. Apart from artillery, I couldn't be any further away from this guy. So, I guess that's it for this match, ain't it? So, there's just no way I'm ever going to get... Okay, I might get another shot off. He's coming back. Well, ain't that just swell. So, now I'm going to do another thing that Tigers normally do. Set up ambushes. Here he comes, a little Type 59. I've loaded a gold round. Yes, I'm not spamming the gold. This is the first gold round I fired the entire match, but it's a Type 59. I'm wanting to get a kill on him. So I'm aiming, and it misses. Oh my lord, I kind of panic. He donks the shot in the cliff, and this is where it just all goes to hell. I panic, don't let it aim. It shoots just low of him. I'm reloading again. I could put another shell in him, and I donk it again. Just misses him. But he does die from the Waffenträger Alpha Panzer IV, and it wasn't that bad of a match for me. I did make over 32,000 silver. I would have made way more if I hadn't fired those 3 premium rounds, but I blocked 1,000 damage, placed top on the team in XP, 2nd in damage dealt, and 3rd overall in damage dealt for the entire game. And I'm a tier 7 heavy tank. So, I mean, the Tiger's a good tank, you just gotta play it to its strengths, which is plugging up the holes and doing exactly what needs to be done at the right time. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.